today for this session. For Esri, we do have an internship program which runs every quarter, whereby we have groups of students from different universities who come and join us so that we're able to work with the technology, the Esri technology. They're able to work with clients and understand the common patterns of ArcGIS and the GIS applications to different clients, how they're able to solve problems and challenges that are faced by different businesses across the East African region. So for this program, which runs through different countries, that is Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania, we do have the program and admitting students from different universities so that they're able to address, work with the technology to identify the different problems that our clients and businesses are facing, and they're able to come up with solutions that can bring value to businesses across the region. So I'd like to start the program and invite our intern to start off is Moses Mwanya. And Moses, if you are ready, please roll it up. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sydney, for the invite. Yeah, so I'm going to share my screen so that I can start off the presentation as soon as possible. Yeah, I hope my screen is visible. I hope you can see my PowerPoint presentation. So my name is Moses Mwanya. I am a Q4 attaché at Esri Eastern Africa. First and foremost, I would like to thank the company for giving me this opportunity to work with them for this 3-month period. Yeah, I am from the Technical University of Kenya. I am a finalist, currently taking a bachelor's degree in geoinformation technology. My background is primarily lies in GIS and remote sensing. Yeah, so GIS is important to me because GIS helps us to use location-based information and data to know what happens in the world we live around us, and the day-to-day activities are in one way or the other are influenced by the GIS technology. So in this project, I was assigned a project which lies under the natural resources industry. So my main aim was to calculate mine stockpile volumes, and the title of the project was mine stockpile solution reporting using imagery and 3D mapping. So the main objective of the project is just to help organizations and companies get to know, get to perform their volumetric analysis and get to have a good reporting system. So I'll dive in immediately into the next slide. So my problem statement, I had some key points in the problem statement. And the first problem statement, as you can see, is inefficient stockpile monitoring, leading to suboptimal resource management and potential financial losses. So in this problem statement, you get that there is lack of resource management, thus leading to losses. This is brought about by lack of accountability. You get that most of the companies don't have a good mechanism to be accountable in their stockpile reporting systems. So I am going to be addressing that problem. The other problem is about that current methods lack real-time accuracy and often require manual interventions. You find that in the recently we are having so many satellite imageries from different platforms, and you get that these satellite imageries the temporal period of them is not that quite dependable. And also if you get that they tend to have a low resolution such that you can't see what is on ground well. So most of the companies, you get that if they use this satellite imagery, the solution they are going to get won't be that accurate. So that's another problem I'm going to be addressing in this project. The other problem is that I aim to come with correct methods such as the use of drones to outdo the outdated methods. There are several outdated methods of calculating volumes, such as the use of total stations, whereby the surveyors go to the site and pick some spot heights. They get on top of the stockpile. Yeah, those are some of the outdated methods that I am going to be addressing today. Yeah, the other problem is risk management. I want to help companies know how to mitigate their risks in regards to the stockpiles they are getting from the mine sites, and also security such as theft, how they can monitor the stockpiles and their property. The next slide is about the objectives. My objective, the real goal for this project, the main objective is I want to create real-time insights and data visualizations. I want to help these companies get to see their stockpiles in real time and get to know what's happening in the site, despite them not being there physically at the site. I also want to create a dashboard for management to represent the data in both 2D and 3D. The dashboard will help the executive team such that when you get to find the surveyors have done all the analysis, they have captured the data in the field, they have analyzed the data and processed the data, how will the management be able to make insights and make decisions using this data? So that's another objective I'm going to be addressing today. The other objective is that I want to integrate my solution with GIS platforms such as ArcGIS Pro. For this project, I used ArcGIS Pro. There are many softwares you can use, but I primarily want to show you how ArcGIS has very immense capabilities in such projects. My final objective will be, I want to create a comprehensive reporting system using ArcGIS Survey 1, 2, 3, and I'll show you how I'm gonna do that. So I'll just go immediately to the next slide. That's my solution architecture. So the solution architecture, as you can see, it's a series of many events. The solution architecture just demonstrates how we are supposed to do this project, right from the planning, navigation, understanding, capturing, monitoring, and coordination of plans. So as from the planning, we locate the field, we locate where the mine site is, and hence we get the real-time insights. So after planning, we navigate. After navigation, we get to understand about the project. Yeah, so in understanding the project, we have the public, executive, and other stakeholders. Now, in understanding, that's whereby we use the dashboards, as I will show you. Yeah, then we have capturing of data. For this particular project, I used drone imagery to capture, to collect data. Yeah, then we got to have the monitoring, know where workers are and see progress in real time. I'll show us how we can monitor the progress of the workers in the mine site. Then we have the lastly coordination, which is to act on real-time conditions in the field to update worker tasks. So we have ArcGIS as an enabling platform across mining works. The first, this slide shows how ArcGIS can help us address different mining issues. We have mining exploration, whereby in mining exploration is whereby stakeholders review about the project about the progress of the project. Then we have mining operations, which is the now actualization of the mining works. Then we have environmental management. Yeah, in environmental management, we have to use maps and spatial analysis to understand the risks and areas to put in proper risk management strategies. Because as you know, after the mining has been done, the stockpiles have been collected, there will be land declaration. So how are we going to reclaim this land after the mining is done? So about community engagement, you see, this ArcGIS is a platform that will enable us to build and understanding and local support to engage within our community. Yeah, in the community engagement, we also have various applications within the platforms that we can be able to use to engage the various people within a particular community or even an area, or even the customers you as a company have and the clients you have as a company. Yeah, so this platform is not a limited platform, and in the community engagement, this is whereby we use some apps such as the field apps, the crowdsourcing apps. We also use the viewer apps. We got the social media, it's still there. We got story maps, and we also got the dashboards. So benefits of implementing the system, the solution. As you can see, the benefits are self-explanatory. We have enhanced operational efficiency, real-time visibility, optimized resource allocation, cost savings, and proactive risk management and data-driven decision making. Yeah, so that's the end of my slide. Now the next step, I'm going to dive directly into the demonstration and show you how this project I did in ArcGIS Pro. So I will open ArcGIS Pro and show you how I did this unmanned aerial vehicle image processing using ArcGIS Pro. I hope you still continue to see my screen. Let's wait for some few seconds as it loads. It's almost, so just give it some seconds. It will be done. Yeah, that's it. So this is the interface of ArcGIS Pro. So I just go directly and open a new map and name it. The mine site is in the river, Bamburi Cement. So I name it Bamburi Demonstration. It will just be saved automatically. It will create a new project and open a new map. So as it opens a new map, I hope you can see the screen, the interface of the ArcGIS Pro. Actually, ArcGIS Pro is the current software we have, and it's an upgrade from ArcMap. You can see the ribbon tab at the top. It's a very interactive ribbon tab whereby it gives the vibes of Microsoft Word, and it's easier for analysis. So once it's there, I'll get to show you first the mine insight, the imagery I had from the drone data I collected. So I'll just add a folder connection. And browse where my data is. It's in the desktop. So I'll first add the TIFF file. Here you can see it's there. We refresh. So that's the TIFF file I'm adding. So when I add, is the non-georeferenced. This is the thing, this is the image you will see. As you can see from my screen, this is the study area, this is the T file which is not georeferenced. It's just somewhere in the map. So these are the main the stockpiles. I hope you can see that the drone captures very high resolution data. Those are some of the stockpiles. As you can see, there are other works going on around here. You can also see that there are some pits. You can see some vehicles, some trucks. Yes, so this will be my study area. You can see how the environment has been affected in this area. So you remember in one of my objectives, I mentioned about environmental monitoring. So these are the things we are going to look at. You can see the stockpiles here. These are sand. It's either sand or cement. Yes, you can be able to see the tracks. So this is not georeferenced. So I'll show you the georeferenced one. So this is the digital elevation model of my study area. It's somewhere in the river. So once I georeferenced the digital elevation model, this is what we get. Yeah, so that's the digital elevation model. So we get into the Bamburi to calculate the volumes. So in calculation of volumes, we have to, let me open another tab here for the demonstration. Still loading. Let's just give it some few seconds. Once it loads, I'll just go directly to calculation of the volumes. I had already calculated the volumes right here, but as you can see, the volumes, I have them, but I want to show you how it's done. So I hope it finishes adding the T file so that we can continue. So as it loads, I can add a new map or just show you from the DM, which was georeferenced. So we want to create a new auto-mapping workspace. So we create a new auto-mapping workspace because we can't just deal with this data as it is in the contents plate just using the normal map. We have to open a new auto-mapping workspace because we are dealing with drone imagery. So once after we open we go still calculating statistics. Let's give it some more few seconds as it loads. So finally, it has added the data. We zoom it to layer. So as I told you, I have to open a new auto mapping workspace. Yeah. So from my tab, my ribbon tab, I just click imagery. Then after clicking imagery, you can see from the left side of the screen at the top, you can see create new workspace. Yeah, I create a new auto mapping workspace. So I give my project, let's say Bamburi drone demo. You have to give it a description. So I'll just say volumetric analysis of stockpiles. The sensor type, you see, for this case, we are using a drone. You can also have the option to use a satellite, an aerial digital image, or an aerial scanned image. For this case, we are using a drone. The base map remains to be topographic, so just click next. So in the image collection, the sensor type we leave for this time, we just leave it as default. Then we connect to our folder where the images are. You see, for this particular image you are seeing on the screen, the drone captured around 650 images, and for 650 images to process, it will take a lot of time. So for the purposes of demonstration, I will only add around 6 images so that they don't take much of our time. So you can see the images have been added. When I place my cursor at the one of the image, we can see the properties of the image. We can see the camera which took the image, the time at which the image was, the time and date, the longitude and the latitude, and also the altitude. So we come to the geolocation. From the geolocation, we can see it's written loaded from EXIF data. So EXIF is the metadata about the image. It gives us the longitude, the latitude, and maybe the speed of the camera, maybe the camera locations. It also gives us details about how many pixels are in each image, and the altitude reference, and also tells us about the height and the sea level of each image. So I'll just update my camera model. So you have to update and click OK, then next, then finish. So it's creating a new auto mapping workspace. So we just have to give it some more few seconds to finish creating the new auto mapping workspace, so that with the new auto mapping workspace, it gives us a platform to deal with the drone data. It's adding. So the auto mapping workspace has been created. As you can see now from the auto mapping workspace, it gives us a cool representation of working with drone imageries. You can see that the managing GCPs, these are the ground control points. We can see the type points. From the contents plane, you can see the data products, the solution data, the control points, flight data of the drone, the camera locations of the drone, the flight path, and so on. So what you can see from the screen is the images which have been added. The green stripes are the camera footprints, and the yellow squares represent the locations of the camera, while the orange strip, the orange line represents the flight path. So with that, I will just click on the adjust ribbon. So on the adjust ribbon, I'll click on the adjust ribbon to create an auto photo. So I have to, you see from the imagery footprints from these strips, these are the 6 images I added. They have overlaid each other. They are in a stereotype. Stereo means that the images are of the same place, but they have been taken at different angles. So what I'm currently doing is generating an auto photo. So we generate an auto photo so that we can have a good georeference accuracy. Maybe sometimes we correct the distortion of the camera. We have a consistent scale, and the orthophoto will help us in 3D modeling and visualization. So we just have to give it some few seconds as it generates the orthophoto. So from the orthophoto, you can see from the screen, we'll also have to create a digital surface model and a DTM. So once the orthophoto is generated, this tab here will activate and will be able to use these tabs for our project. So whatever is happening will give us this kind of representation. So the orthophoto, once the orthophoto will be added, we'll get the solution data, then generate the digital surface model and the digital terrain model. So let's see if it has been generated. You can see it's taken quite some number of time and it's just 6 images. What if it was the 650 images from for the whole site? So we give it some few seconds as it updates. It's computing the final type points and applying block adjustments. So I want to show you how we can now, after adding the photo, how we can now generate the volumes. As you can see from the ribbon at the top, the interface makes this easier to find tools and also work with the type of data, the data you have. So we give it some few moments, and also from you can see from this imagery, there are some. We have the flight path, which is this line. Seems the photo has been added. So this way it is. The flight path. This flight path, the orange line is not a true path. It's just the camera, where the camera was passing. It doesn't have to be straight. So I'll just close that. You can see this is a mine site. We can deactivate the footprints. We can also deactivate the flight path and the camera location. So you can see it's a very, very clear image. So with this image, we have the stockpiles here. There are about 4 of them. So we are going to generate the volumes using these stockpiles. Since this is the factory here, so I'll go directly. You can see the DSM and the DTM have been generated. So I just create a digital surface model and finish. So why do we create a digital surface model? The purpose of creating this digital surface model is to enable us get a true representation of the Earth's surface, which will be able to include all ground features such as the buildings, the vegetation, and other structures, which are both natural and man-made structures. So we give it some time as it loads the digital surface model. So the digital surface model can take some time. So we would dwell on that so much. So we just get into it. This is just the same thing. I had created the digital surface model and created the digital terrain model. So I'll just remove this shaded relief and create another one so that I can show you the purpose of the shaded relief. So once the DSM and the DTM have been generated, we go to the imagery, raster functions. Then from the raster functions, we get the shaded relief. We search for the shaded relief. So we search for a shaded relief so that we can clearly see the edges of the stockpiles. So I'll choose DSM. The hillshade type, I'll put it multi-directional, then create a new layer. So you can see it has been created. A shaded relief has been created. So from the shaded relief, we are able to have a clear representation of the stockpiles. Okay, my DSM has not captured the whole image. This is simply because we did not input all the 650 images together. We just chose around 6 images. So as I told you, these images are overlapping each other. So that's why the shaded relief, the DTM and the DSM do not capture the whole image. But if we had added all the 650 images, it could have captured everywhere. So once as you can see, this stockpile here has been captured well. There's another one here. And also there is another one here which has been captured well. So it gives us a good platform to digitize the area around. So I'll just go directly into calculating the main purpose of the project now, calculating the volumes. So in the volumes, I'll use the mensuration tab here. So mensuration means measuring ground information from an imagery. So I'll just click my shaded relief there, and you can see the volume is not activated. So we have to activate this volume so that we can be able to measure the volumes. So once it's there, digital surface model, base constant, okay. So let's see if you can see now it's now activated, the volume. So once the volume is activated, we can choose one of the stockpiles here, then digitize around the stockpile well, so that we can get the volume of this particular stockpile. Once done, double click, you can see the transformation unavailable. So I'll maybe have to change the parameters and input the digital terrain model and see if it works. Let's first, you can see the volume has been generated. So if one particular variable does not work, you input the other one. So the DTM, you can either use the DTM or the digital service modeling. So we can name that volume as maybe stockpile 7. So stockpile 7 as a volume, is you can see from the right hand of my screen in the mensuration results. The volume is around 291,516 cubic meters. It's just an error, and it has a minimal error of 0.2282 cubic meters. So we can see the properties, time of measurement, it was recorded right now. You can see the cut, you can see the fill, because we are not, this is not something like a depression. So we just have the cut. You can see the area where the stockpile lies, and also we can see the perimeter. So this is just the desktop overview of the processing and the analysis of our project. So once the surveyor has gone to the field, the surveyor has flown the drone, the surveyor has used the ArcGIS Pro to analyze and process the data. So how does the surveyor convey this message to the end users? How does the surveyor go back to the office and give a report maybe to the company CEO and help the company CEO get to understand what kind of this thing is? So the next step is we are going to see how we can help non-GIS individuals get to understand our results. Because if you give a non-GIS individual this setup, they won't be able to understand what's happening here. So we have to help them understand what kind of analysis we were doing. So from that's why I'll go to generation of the dashboards. You can see. So this is my dashboard, the dashboard I created. You can see at the top, it's mine stockpile dashboard. The company logo is right there at the top. The reason I have used color green is because color green is the theme color for Bamburi Cement. So you have to customize your dashboard to suit the client's information. You can see the number of surveys done, the number of the drone surveys done are 14. You can see the current stockpile volume we have is 92,880 cubic meters. We have the mode of measurements here, the mining volume trend. So how do we input this data here? So once the surveyor has captured the data in the field, they'll have to fill a certain form. This form is generated by the survey 123. So why do we call it a survey 123? We call it a survey 123 because it's form centric. It leverages smart forms. You can use either in the desktop or you can use it in your phone. It analyzes results immediately. And the survey 123, I can say it's much like Google Forms, but the good thing about it is that the advantage it has an option whereby you can view a map. So I said it's called a survey 123 because you ask questions. This is the designing and publishing. You get to answer questions. This is by capturing the data, and you are able to make decisions. This is by viewing and analyzing. So once the surveyor in the field has done all the analysis, the surveyor will just come here and input a crew name. Let's say the surveyor is called Simon. Simon, the crew identifier is the staff number. So Simon works for Bamburi Cement. What is his staff number? Maybe 765. The date this thing was captured. So as from a dashboard, you can see the number of surveys are 14. So let's continue. The date it was captured, let's say it's date 16 of December. Number of stockpiles, let's say he captured around 3 stockpiles. Volume, let's put it at maybe 6,000. Image of stockpile, we have an option to whereby Simon can take a picture of the stockpile. We have mode of measurements. Yeah, so you will just choose one here. Let's say use a drone. For our case, we use a drone. Excavator identifier, this may be the number plate of the excavator of the company. Maybe we just guess a number plate. The excavator health status, is the truck operational? Is it down? Is it due for service? Let's say it was operational. The excavator model, is it a Caterpillar, Komatsu, Volvo, John Deere, or Hitachi? Let's say you use a John Deere. Any other comment the surveyor can add. So in this interface, the surveyor needs to locate where the stockpile was generated. So we can change our base map to imagery hybrid. So once it's changed to imagery hybrid, we can be able to view well where the survey took place. So this is the area around at the river. This is our study area. This is the mine area. You can see the satellite image is not that accurate as compared to a drone image. So let's say the volume of the stockpile was here. So Simon will input the location there and submit. So we just wait for it to submit. So it has been submitted and it's successful. So we get back to our dashboard. The number of surveys were 14. So let's refresh our screen to see if the number of surveys have been adjusted. Yeah, as you can see, the number of surveys are now 15. The stockpile volume has increased. Yeah, so I'll just change the base map to imagery hybrid so that we can get good representations of our study area. This base map is interactive. We can click here and see. Yeah, you see, this is Simon, the one we have just done right now, Simon, and you can see the actions which have been done. So it's quite much interactive. The managers in the office can click, and you remember in one of my objectives, I'd said that we want to create a real-time monitoring of events which are happening in the mine site. Also at the bottom of my screen in the left side, you can see this is the map. We also have details. We can see the number of surveys done are 15. The first surveyor was Moses. Yeah, such things like those. So we go back to the map. The number of surveys are 15. We also have another tab here whereby, let's say we want to know what a certain worker is doing in site. Let's say Robert. So we click Robert and see that Robert surveyed a stockpile here. So what kind of measurement did Robert use? Robert used satellite imagery. Robert did 2 surveys and they were on December date 4 and December date 8, and they were all of the same volume. So we also have the excavator health status. So we can see that Robert said that the excavator was operational. So we can get back to select all. So we also have a wider view of where we can see the trends, whereby you can just click there and see the volume of stockpile and the date it was captured. Yeah, it's quite interactive and quite appealing, such that the non-GIS professionals can now get a clear understanding of what's happening, and now they can provide good insights and management of the stockpiles, whereby they can allocate resources well without much expenditure and without wasting resources. Yeah. So for the mode of measurement too, we can also expand it, and you can see for the laser scanners, the surveyors who have used laser scanning are 2, the surveyors who have used drones are 7, for satellite imageries are 4, for total stations are 2. Yeah, so that comes to the end of my presentation, and thank you all for your time. So I'll introduce my next fellow intern, who is Philip Nyakwaka, who will take us through his presentation. So Philip, you can join the meeting and take us through your presentation, and thanks for your time.
Okay, thank you very much, Moses. My name is Philip Nyakwaka. I'm a graduate of Geospatial Engineering from the University of Nairobi. So currently I'm an intern at ESRI Eastern Africa, Nairobi office. And my interests mainly lie at the intersection of GIS and economics, and also some software development concepts. And ESRI has really given me a chance to try some of their workflows to help solve a myriad of problems that are facing the African continent and Kenya. So just to dive into my presentation, I'll just share my screen straight away. So the title of my presentation is Asset Inspection Workflows with ArcGIS, and I will solely focus on building inspections. So over the recent years, there has been a surge in the number of collapsing buildings in Kenya, and this has led to loss of life, injuries, and even economic losses both to the country and also to the landlords and the investors as well. And also, just as you can see my screen, some of the statistics based on the National Construction Authority. Over the past, in the past 5 years, the NC has reported 200 deaths and 1,000 injuries. And furthermore, you can see even the Kenyan economy has suffered 2.4 billion shillings losses in investment. So some of the factors that has led to building collapsing include use of substandard materials and also rogue contractors who fail to adhere to the building standards. So the National Construction Authority, together with the National Building Inspectorate, these are departments in the State Ministry of Public Works that are mandated with conducting building inspection and audit to ensure that these buildings are safe for humans to reside in. However, we can see that still they are not meeting that mandate successfully, because I truly believe that we need a proper asset mapping and management to improve inspection services, and also to eliminate manual processes in sharing inspection results. So furthermore, also we need better visualization on dangerous buildings, and this can help the ministry to better inform the public about the state of buildings in their surrounding. So my project intends to leverage ArcGIS workflow to streamline these building inspection processes, and I'll share with you the myriad of advantages that this solution can offer the Kenyan government and the ministry. So the main objective of this project is to utilize ArcGIS software to enhance building inspection processes. And this will be supported by 3 main specific objectives. which includes establishing a comprehensive building database. This was done on ArcGIS Pro Desktop, and I'll show you later how I did it. And also another specific objective is to implement an efficient workforce management system for building inspection. So as you can see, the ministry currently lacks a centralized and easy way to access inspection records. So this system will also boost credibility so that even if a building inspector has done his work and the building collapses, then we can know who should we hold accountable for that. Then the last specific objective would be to develop a prototype for building inspections. So on your screen is my solution architecture. At the very bottom, we have a geodatabase. So in the geodatabase, mainly we have the building feature classes together with their attributes. So these are attributes that are tied to the buildings, both quantifiable attributes like area and maybe perimeter of the building, and also some attributes that would contain information about the state of that building, whether it needs maintenance, whether it has been repaired, or whether it is suited for people to reside in. So these building feature classes and together with their attributes were created in ArcGIS Pro Desktop and then published to ArcGIS Online. So ArcGIS Online is a web-centric platform, and from ArcGIS Online, we managed to configure mobile apps that will be used by the inspectors in the field. So these are things like the field maps, workforce, navigator, and survey 123. Then from ArcGIS Online, we also have web maps. For instance, the workforce that would be used by the GIS administrator to monitor the project and also to validate the quality of the inspection results that have been submitted to our database. And also we have our dashboards. This would be mainly used by the directors in the ministries to make decisions on how to better utilize their resources in regards to maybe building maintenance, and also to better inform the public about the safety of buildings. So I'll just jump straight away to my demo. So on your screen, this is my ArcGIS Pro desktop environment. Here I have a number of buildings. So well, this solution currently, I've tailored it to focus on building inspections, but it can be extended even to include bridges and other public assets. So as you can see, these are building feature classes. Then down here, we have the attribute table. So the first attribute table, this blue color that you're seeing on top here, this now contains the quantitative attributes of the building. We can see here the building ID and things like that. And also we have the inspection table. So this building inspection table contains attributes with regard to the inspection information that has been done on these buildings. So all of this was now published to ArcGIS Online, and I'll just share with you. So after it had been published to ArcGIS Online, I hope you can see my screen. It was used to create a web map. So the good thing about this web map is that I've applied a different symbology to tell us on the state of the building. So for instance, this red rectangle up here, this is a building that has been inspected, and you can click on it to see information associated with the building. So this is the inspection information of the building. You can see that the repair status, it hasn't been repaired, and the asset condition has been vetted to be bad. So this is a building that should be scheduled for maintenance. And down here, this is another inspection that was done. And if you can click on the attributes of that building, you can see that the asset is in a good condition. So the web map basically allows us to better visualize the conditions of these assets. And also just by looking at it and knowing where the red buildings are, we can inform the public that reside near that building that they might be in danger. So after creating The web map, of course, now we had to configure certain apps, for instance, now the workforce. So this is where now the inspection process begins. So on your screen is my workforce. So this would be used by the GIS administrator to assign work to the inspectors, and also the GIS administrator has the latitude to either revoke the work that has been done, and also he can reassign. So on your screen, you can see these green circles. So these are assignments that have been completed. The red one, as you can see, these are declined assignment, and these gray ones are assignments that are still on progress. So in order to assign work to an inspector, we just have to click create assignments. Then the assignment type, of course, it's building inspection. So the address of the building, so we can either type the building ID or we can just click on the building directly. Then we can now also assign a priority. Maybe it's a medium assignment, and also the due date and the time. And also we can just give a short description. Maybe you can tell the inspector that watch out, maybe the building has dogs, or maybe it's inaccessible, something of that sort. So once work has been assigned, the building inspector already has a mobile workforce app in their phone, and they'll get a notification that they have been assigned work. So I'd just like to share with you how this would look like. So this is now the workforce. So what they do when they enter the workforce, they can either see whether they have work to do with this to do tab, or they can click on completed to see the assignment that they have already completed. So right now you can see in my to-do tab, I've been assigned 2 inspection assignments. One is of medium priority, the other is of low priority. So to begin work, and also down here at the bottom right corner, the inspector can also update their status, whether they are working or they are on break, and this would also reflect on the administrator's workforce app. So he can know if an inspector is available for work. So right now I'm available for work and my status is working. So if I click my assignment to begin my inspection, I can either choose to start, finish, or decline. So if I choose to decline, then I'll have to give a reason as to why I have declined that assignment. So for now, I just choose start. So I want to take this assignment. So what I do next is to navigate to where the building is, and you can see here I have the navigate to assignment. So this would open the navigator, and I can just click go. So I can walk to where the building is, or whatever means I choose. So once I reach the location, I can end my navigation, and now I can open my field maps. So when you open the field map, this is what you'd see. So let's say this was the building that I was assigned to inspect. So you can just click on the building. And when you click on the building, of course, you can see a pop-up. So the asset type is building, and also the building ID. So I can confirm whether I'm inspecting the right building. So we have 2 options. You can either fill in the inspection results using a survey form, or you can just fill it right here in field map. So first, I'll show you how we can do this with field map. So if you just click the related where we have building inspection, then you can click on add. Of course, here you can see I can enter my details, the inspector details, my ID. So in inspection history, this is whether the building has been inspected or not. So let's say just for demo purposes, I enter that. Then, so if the building has been repaired, then of course, we would be prompted to add additional information like when was it last repaired and how much did it cost to repair. So if the building wasn't repaired, then we won't see that prompt. Then we can now begin to populate the inspection information. So the inspection date is the date where in which I'm inspecting the building. Then I can say the asset condition, whether it's good or bad. I can also see whether the building is connected to water, and also should the building be repaired. So this is what is of interest to us. So we can click yes or no. So if we choose yes, then we need to also input the estimated repair cost. So this would also help the directors to gauge on how they can allocate resources for this kind of projects. So again, I can choose to do my inspection using a survey 123 form. So here, this blue link will take me to my survey 123. And also I can populate the same information that I have done. And this is real time. So when the inspector is populating these forms in the field, it will be reflecting in the web map and also in the dashboard. So the next thing I would like to show you now, the dashboard, what the directors would be seeing. So this is what the directors would be seeing when the inspection progress is ongoing. So on the top right corner, the inspection progress, you can see we have a gauge. So this is now how to gauge, is to gauge how the project is progressing. And this gauge will show inspections that have been done in the last 1 year. So for instance, now we've only done 8 inspections. So this 5.4 thousand is the total number of building shapefiles that we have in our geodatabase. And within the past 1 year, we've only inspected 8. Then just below it, you can see the buildings needing inspection. So these are the buildings that have been scheduled for maintenance. So maybe they have been vetted to be in a bad condition. And also we have a list here. So these lists should also show us the buildings that should be scheduled for maintenance. And if you see the list, you can see we have ID and also the asset, the building condition, and also the estimated repair costs. Then the far top right corner, you can see we have the total estimated repair cost. So this would help the directors to see how they can plan to utilize the resources. And then down here, these graphs. So let's say maybe this project should be done in 1 year, and maybe we've set a target that in each month we should maybe inspect 80 buildings. For now, I've set my target to 80, and you can see on December, I've only done 6. So I'm far much below the target, but you can see how this would be of benefit. So to conclude my presentation, I'd just like to show you the benefits of this solution. So first of all is improved asset visualization and public awareness strategies. So just by having that web map or even the dashboards that can show us where the buildings are, and it is color-coded to show us the condition of the buildings, we can be able to know which areas maybe residents should move out of those buildings, and that can help us to create awareness in the public. And also the other one is improved inspection workflows with near real-time capabilities. So this solution greatly improves the office to field and field to office work processes. So because it's near real-time, so we can be able to gauge what is happening at that particular moment. And then the last benefit of this solution is optimized planning and utilization of public resources, including estimation processes. So as you had seen previously on my dashboard, there was something about estimation cost. So this can help the directors, and even just knowing the history of that building, whether it has been scheduled for maintenance previously or it hasn't been maintained, can also help us to gauge on the resources that we could spend in maintaining such buildings. And that is the end of my presentation. Thank you all. So I'd like to invite the next intern will be presenting, that is Irene. Sorry, Rosie. Yeah, Rosie.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rosie Agapiti. I'm from the Tanzanian team. I'm here to present how companies can use the ArcGIS tools to manage their property. So I'll share my screen so that I can start with my PowerPoint presentation. Okay. So I hope everyone is seeing my screen right now that I've shared. So for my case, I've based on the railway transport asset management that I'll guide how companies can use the ArcGIS tools to manage their properties. First of all, so I'll start with the introduction. When we are talking about property management, we should know for an industry, railway industry should know the different properties that are available inside the industry. For example, in the railway industry, there is different properties such as the infrastructures, which are the stations, that's the tracks. Also, there's the rolling stocks, which are the trains. Also, there's the stationary facilities, which enable the boarding of passengers, cutting of tickets. All these assets, how can they be managed? How can we manage these assets? So all these assets should be managed. For the railway industry, the assets are managed so that it enables a effective and efficient transportation and operating system. So during the management, the railway system encounter different companies encounter challenges, whereby for the railway system encounters the not knowing the aging of the tracks, of the infrastructures that they do have. They are unable to locate the real time of the rolling stocks, of the tracks, of the crossing points, of the buffer points. They do not have the location, the right location of those properties. Also, knowing the efficiency and the maintenance, update maintenance of their properties is still a problem for the railway industry. So I have generated a problem statement according to the railway industry, whereby they do not have a centralized database where all information about different assets that are available in the railway can be seen in a single screen and make a pure decisions or decide good decisions and solutions that can improve the can improve the efficiency of the transport. So I've used the ArcGIS tools, the ArcGIS tool to manage the railway properties and assets that are available in the industry, whereby this is through generating a database, a central database that contains all information of all assets that are available in the industry. Also, the ArcGIS provides a tool that is called a dashboard to allow authorities to view different assets that are available in the industry, in the railway industry, where the maintenance, the type of the asset, maybe it's the track, it's a crossing, or maybe it's the buffer point. So through the dashboard, the authority are able to view different location of the asset. So the ArcGIS provide also a ArcGIS collector, map collector that enable the field workers to collect detailed information about the assets that are available in the industry, including mapping the location, for instance, mapping new assets that are available or built. It also enable that. It also gives you that capability of mapping the new infrastructures or assets that are available in the industry. So this is the solution architecture that through the ArcGIS, through ArcGIS, the company is able to track the real time of assets, and also to use the field map to update different information about the track, if it's aging or it needs some maintenance, or maybe there's there's an accident that it may need maintenance. So from here, I'm going to share my solution, how an industry can use the ArcGIS Pro as a desktop to create a centralized geodatabase that will be used to store all the information and to visualize them in the dashboard. So, for instance, this is a company having different assets that are available in the industry. For this is the railway, whereby it has the crossing, it has the different assets. For instance, this I just left the switches. These are the switches that are available on the railway track. So I'll take you through how to create this a centralized database that can be used by different industry, can use the ArcGIS tool to generate the centralized geodatabase that will enable them to have a center place of all assets that are available in the industry. So when, for instance, so you can go on into the ribbon, you go into the view on the catalog panel, then you just right click on the database. As you can see, you can right click on the database and create a new geodatabase. You can name it according, you can name the location, select the location where you want the geodatabase to be created. So here I'll just name like railway. Hence click save. Hence the railway asset that the geodatabase that I've just created will appear here. Then you create the features, import the features that the data, the properties, the information, the data set of your information that you want to centralize them, which will create a web map that will be used in the dashboard area. So you can, here's the part where you can import these features, that the feature classes, whereby you click, you input these features. Maybe it's I want to, this my database to have the switches. This is for demo. I'm just demonstrating. I already created a centralized database, which railway industry can use. So I'll add another one, maybe the railway stations. I'll add rail tracks, then I'll run the process. As you can see, when I expand my railway asset geodatabase, the features are available. The asset that the data is, all the assets are available in one database. This database and the web map, as you can share it online, then the ArcGIS provides you an access of creating the web layer that you just shared to create a dashboard and different collectors so that you can maintain the properties. So I'll go ahead and share my dashboard that authority will be viewing, will be viewing the properties, asset, and updates of data. So this is the dashboard that the railway, that is the ArcGIS provide this tool to create a dashboard that the authority can manage the property by viewing the updates, whereby there is this gauge that you can track the length of different railway tracks that are available inside the industry, whereby you can see there's abandoned tracks, where you can observe the length of the abandoned tracks, which is 8.6 kilometers. Also, if you want to see the railway that is being constructed, how far has it gone? It's 3.9 kilometers. Also, this dashboards tool enable the authority to see how many properties do they own. As for here, the railway stations available in this railway track, there are only 12, and the level crossing are 104. And also the control switches which are available on this section of track, there are only 36.
Rosie, sorry, we cannot see the dashboard. If you are sharing, yeah.
Let me reshare again. Okay, I hope so. My screen is.
Yeah, that's great. Please proceed.
Okay, I was saying that the ArcGIS provide a dashboard tool that enable industry to view and visualize their properties. This is the dashboard that enables the railway industry to view different assets that are available. Also saying it enables to track different lengths of different tracks that are available in the industry. Whereby, for instance, the authority needs to see how long is to track the length of the abandoned tracks. This is as you can see, I just click the track types to see the abandoned tracks, and this is the available tracked length that is seen in the dashboard, which have been collected by the field people using the tool that is the ArcGIS field collector, which as I proceed, I'll just show the ArcGIS field collector forms that has been used to fill the information of the abandoned tracks and the conditions and the time. Also, the authority is able to see how many assets are available on the track, on the industry. For instance, this railway, for this section, it contains 12 stations that are available on the railway, on this railway track. Also, there is the leveling crossing is there are 104, and also the crossing switches are able to be seen. Also, I'll take you through also to the field map, the field apps that are being used to collect, can be used to collect the information that has been fed to in the industry and mapping. So this is the field map that has been that can be used, or any government, any industry can create using the ArcGIS tools to create a form that will be able to map and update the data that are available in their industry. I would like to share a video that for an example as a demo of how this field information was fed using the ArcGIS field map. So this is one of the field worker that used to add a station around. This was the ArcGIS map was installed in a phone. Then field workers used it to add a station, to add different station. For this, they are adding different station that is available within the railway track. As you can see, it's just he wanted to remain with the layers that the work he was doing for that day, only the station and the tracks. So he added the station location and filled the form that was created using the tool of ArcGIS map field. Where is the station type, the latitude. That was he filled. Also, I'll go back and share the survey 1 to 3 that will this form. The ArcGIS provides a tool of survey 1 to 3 as a field form that will be used by the field workers to fill the day-to-day conditions and assets that are available. So this is the form that will be used, can be used and created using the ArcGIS tools. Whereby field worker is required to fill the form, and this will give an update on the property condition and location. For the ArcGIS, the ArcGIS tools provide different benefits concerning property management. And for my solution, so far it will provide the railway industry will enable streamlining data and tracking live locations of different assets and managing each asset that is available in the industry. Also, it empowers better decisions on how to maintain the properties. I would like to welcome the next Intel to present.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. My name is Irene Kisiero, currently an intern with ESRI Eastern Africa in the Q4 cohort. I am really grateful to ESRI for granting me this opportunity. I did my undergraduate in environmental planning and management, and graduated and decided that I would really like to use GIS mostly in the conservation sector, in the climate sector, or really much in the conservation sector. So just a minute while I share my screen. Okay. So my project was on carbon sequestration assessment using ArcGIS. Case study was the Masai Mara region. Yes. So just a brief introduction. Carbon sequestration, sorry, is a carbon Carbon sequestration is a carbon cleanup process designed to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, thereby mitigating the impacts of climate change. We have various forms of sequestration, which include biological and oceanic sequestration. Biological happens through the forest, vegetations, and soils. The oceanic happens through the oceans. So we will focus on quantifying the biological carbon sequestration in the forests, particularly the Masai Mara forest, which happens to be one of the largest contained tropical forests in East Africa in the Rift Valley region. So just a basic, a short introduction on Mau. So Mau, the ecosystem is rich in biodiversity characterized by high rainfall. It's located in the Rift Valley. And from the year 1990 to 2000, there was settlement of people in the area, and which led to a lot of deforestation. In the year 2009, a task force was formed and designed to plan and restore and rehabilitate the forest. 2012, the forest was given a new status as a water tower, thus establishing their importance. From the year 2012 to 2020, there has been mass evictions, as we have been seeing, and restoration projects by a lot of different organizations. So basically, I chose Mau because previously it was previously the vegetative cover was intense. It was okay, but then coming to 1990, deforestation. But now there has been afforestation projects. So throughout, I will use the forest, vegetation, and bare land as parameters for monitoring the changes in the land use and hence the carbon. So objectives of my solution include to quantify the amount of carbon sequestered by the Masai Mara ecosystem using ArcGIS, and to establish a methodology for companies invested in the carbon credit market sector to quantify the amount of carbon sequestered. My approach is scientific to some extent, and there will be a bit of formulas that will be used, but we'll come back to them during the demo. So we can go to my solution architecture, basically what I will be doing. Imagery that has been acquired from the satellites, I will have them in my storage and then send them to my ArcGIS Pro, where I can do a lot of processing, for example, calculating the normalized vegetation difference and above ground biomass, which I will then use to calculate my carbon. The data that will come from the ArcGIS Pro will go to the online, whereby there will be web maps and dashboards. The dashboards can be accessible by the executives for decision making. They can be accessed by the GIS experts in case any change has been done. So let me go to some of the benefits of the solution will include time series analysis. So with the solution, users can track changes in carbon stocks over time, which we will see as I show it. And this will help identify the trends, pinpoint areas of concern, and evaluate the success of conservation and restoration activities in regards to mitigation efforts of climate change. So adding to that, the solution will help in mitigating the effects of climate change, as it will show the amount of carbon sequestered after the restoration projects. The solution will also help in evaluating the success of a conservation and restoration project. And as I had earlier mentioned, it will help in accounting and reporting. So let me just go to my demo. So this is my ArcGIS Pro. And what I did, I started by getting land use data from Sentinel, which I got from the portal in the ArcGIS online. What you do, you just come to your catalog, go to your Living Atlas, and then you type whatever data that you'll need. So for my project, I use the Sentinel, then you will, this is the one that is appearing here. I hope my screen is visible. It's visible. Okay. So you will right click it, add it to the current map. When you add it to the current map, this is what appears. Just a minute. And sorry, I forgot to mention, you need to also have the boundary of the area of interest. In my case, it's the MAU. So the MAU boundary, and then the data that I need. After this, I will export the data so that I can only remain with the data that I need, which is only inside my boundary. You right click, you select the year that you want. I am doing 2017 and 2022. So I will select data that is on 2017, right click it, go to your data option, export raster. Once you export the raster, just a minute. Okay, let me, yeah. You define where you want your data to go, output format, clipping geometry, you select your MAU boundary because that is what we are using. Use input features, and then export, you select your export. After you do that, the data that I got was the land cover 2022 and 2017. So, yes, from the data we can see my classes were trees, crops, built area, and rangeland, because we will be using mostly the tree cover to estimate the amount of carbon that was sequestered. So what I have a simple table here. Sorry, let me divert us a bit to here, which is, okay, we can see it on my PowerPoint, sorry. So this is the land use and land cover change since 2017 to 2022. In 2017 to 2022, for the trees, there has been an increase. This is the area in meters squared. There has been an increase in the number of trees. In the number of crops, there has been a decrease, which might be a good sign because they might be using the same land to plant the trees, yeah? The built area, however, since 2017 to 2022 has increased just a bit. Rangeland has increased. It's also a good thing because also rangeland takes part in carbon sequestration. So let me go back to the demo. Sorry for the. So basically from the land cover data, now what we want to do is get the NDVI, then normalized difference vegetation index, because from this NDVI is where we're going to get the above ground biomass, which is going to in turn calculate the carbon that we need. So what I did was go to the raster calculator. Sorry, just a minute. Just a minute when I fix something. Okay, so what you do is you go to your raster calculator, which you will get from your analysis. Go to your tools, select your raster calculator, and then since we are calculating the NDVI, the formula for calculating NDVI is the near infrared. First of all, for my data, I am using Landsat 8 images. So the formula for calculating data for the Landsat 8 images is let me show you in the PPT so you can have a visual. Exactly. So is the band 5 minus the band 4 divided by band 5 plus the band 4. So now what we do is you come to your raster calculator and then you bring the bands. that you need, you have to download them first. Mine, I got them from the USGS website. So you come to your folders and then you select them where you have your data. This is my data. So I will select for 2017. And you can select only the bands that you need. I will need band 4 and band 5. So you select band 4, you select your band 5, and then okay. So you will have it on your raster calculator. So we will, what we'll do is we will put the formula. You have to start with the float, and then you put your band 5, and then minus the band 4. Okay. And then you divide it. Everything that you need is just here. You divide it by band 5. You have to put the float again. Then you do band 5 minus band 4. You select where you want your output to go, and then you run. So this, what we have done is for 2017. So what happens? This is what it generates. This is the NDVI for 2017. You repeat the same process, you extract the NDVI for 2022. From what we can see here, we can see that in 2017, okay, for NDVI, the values that are above 0.4 to 0.6, that means there's a high vegetation. And below 0.2, the vegetation is soil or bare or impervious. So in 2017, we have our highest value of 0.49. 2022, we have our highest value of 0.52. This is an increase, which is good and could be attributed to the reforestation practices. So from our NDVI, what we need now to extract is the above ground biomass. Now, the above ground biomass is what we are going to use to extract it is a particular formula. And you'll choose a model structure that includes NDVI and AGB. The chosen structure that we had chosen is linear, and we used regression analysis so that we can fit the model to the data set that we had. And basically, the goal of this is to find coefficients that minimize the difference between the predicted and the observed above ground ground biomass values. So what we're going to do is calibrate it and adjust the coefficients to the model to best fit the training data set. So this 4501 that you can see here, this is a constant. And the 16199 is the weight associated with the NDVI variable. So you're going to take this formula and you're going to put it to your raster calculator. So let us remove this first. So what you do is you're going to get your, let's say, for example, we want to calculate the above ground biomass for 2017. We are going to come here and write our formula, negative 4501 plus 16199. And then you can multiply it by NDVI 2017. Yeah, that. You select your output, you run it. Once you run, it will generate the carbon for 2017, which is this. You repeat the process, it generates, for 2022, it generates the 2022 carbon. So from this, we can see the green, of course, that is the best value. The negative value that we are having here that is in red is showing the quantity of carbon that was lost to the atmosphere. This could be through probably unsustainable farming practices. It could be through large-scale agriculture. Maybe there are people still doing agriculture there. Even the buildings we saw from 2017 to 2022, there has been an increase in the built up area. So this could be attributed to that. In 2022, there's an increase in the rate of carbon sequestered, but there is also an increase in the carbon that has been released to the atmosphere. So that is something that is a bit worrying, most especially for the increase, but this we can attribute to the fact that there has been an increase in the built up area. So probably they did agriculture, or, so basically that was it. So this is the carbon. So allow me to take you to the ArcGIS online. So after calculating all of this, I will now transfer what I did my maps to the ArcGIS online so that I can be able to create a dashboard that will be accessible by the GIS experts. It can also be accessible by the executives for decision-making purposes. So this is my simple dashboard with a bit of visualization. So this is carbon for 2017. This is carbon for 2022, the amount of carbon, which is in kilograms. So what we see here, what we can see here is the amount of carbon being sequestered is almost the same as the amount of CO2 that is going back to the atmosphere, most especially in 2017. And also in 2022. But since we are focusing on estimating the amount of carbon that was sequestered by the trees so that we can see if the restoration projects are actually a success, let us for now look at the amount that was sequestered. So 1754 for 2017, 1970 for 2022. So what I will recommend, for example, in this is as much as we are adding a lot of trees that will help in sequestering the carbon, can we also look at the management practices that are happening in the field? Yeah, for example, agriculture. Most of the carbon that is lost to the atmosphere is usually lost through deforestation, burning of fossil fuels, and unsustainable agricultural practices. So there is a project that is ongoing right now for the 5 billion trees launched by the government. And as much as there will be carbon that will be sequestered by that, there will also be much more that will be released to the atmosphere if we do not take into account agricultural practices and the burning of fossil fuels. So basically my project, okay, so let me putting this into context. For example, is a normal human being, a normal adult, in an year, we will release 15.5 tons of carbon dioxide, a normal person. Of course, that is dependent on maybe the appliances that you use. It's also dependent on your transport and things like that. And 1 metric ton of carbon can be, let's say, estimated by the 500 carbon dioxide extinguishers. So if we maybe release all like 500 carbon dioxide extinguishers, that will be equal to 1 metric ton of carbon that will be released to the atmosphere. And 45 mature trees, which could grow at a rate of, let's say, which will grow in 10 years, for example, would absorb only 1 ton of carbon for 45 mature trees in the 10 years. So for our area, that is the Mau, which is the selected Mau is the Masai Mau. The area of the Masai Mau is 46,484 hectares. So what we see from that is that according to the analysis for the 5-year difference, what we need to do so that we can absorb a bit more of the carbon is increase the amount of trees that will be grown there. And that will help us a lot in the ninning of the carbon, sequestering of the carbon. Yes, so that is a final map of the carbon sequestration in 2017 versus 2022. The green regions show the darker the green, the more the carbon that was sequestered. Yeah. That is it from my side. I would like to welcome the next presenter, Tekla. Thank you.
Tekla Minja, I'm intern from Tanzania. I hold a bachelor degrees in I hold a bachelor degree in geomatics, and I'm going to present a solution about decision support system for disaster management. I'll share my screen in a bit. So here in Tanzania, we face some disasters, and some disasters can be at a national level, while some disasters are at the national disasters, but some disaster can be at a day-to-day incidents like fire and everything. So Tanzania continues to be at a risk of disaster due to several factors, such as climate, urban population pressure, and flood settlement, and environmental degradation. So some recent events here in Tanzania, which can be as the cases of disasters, include some mudslide in Hanang area, and we also have had recent fire outbreaks in common markets here in Dar es Salaam, like the Mwenge markets, but also the Kariakoo markets. So in Tanzania, disaster risk management is guided by the disaster management department under the Prime Minister's office. So the country has some guide for disaster response, including the National Emergency Preparedness Plan and also the National Disaster Management Strategies. These plans or policies give guidelines on what to do in case of a disaster. They explain how various stakeholders, let's say if it's the TMA, Tanzania Meteorological Authority, how it can give weather warning, and then how the nation can give public notification to citizens in case maybe they're going to be heavy rain, so they should expect floods and such kind of things. When reviewing the disaster management strategy policies, the policy implementation of the policy is still facing some problems, including automated platforms to monitor disasters, as in they don't have some of the disaster monitoring agencies don't have automated platforms to monitor disasters such that they can be able to predict a disaster before it happens, or they can be able to model predictions into occurrence of a disaster. But there's also hazards, vulnerability, and exposure are not well mapped and disseminated across sectors. So we don't have enough current maps that shows common area of disaster, that shows area prone to high risk areas prone to disasters in case a disaster happens, such as floods and such kind of things. But also there's inadequate public engagement and awareness. This is to citizen. If an emergency happen or a disaster is happening, what should the citizen do? Who should they report to? Such kind of things. There's also lack of comprehensive multi-hazard early warning system, that a disaster is happening or is going to happen. How can a city warn its citizen of that particular disaster? Inadequate use of geographic information system, remote sensing, and information communication technology in disaster response management. But there's also poor coordination among stakeholders. This is, when a disaster happens, there's a lot of response teams to deal with a disaster. So let's say an earthquake happened and properties are displaced, people have died and everything. You need a lot of response teams. You need ambulances. You need police officers, but you also need government organization. You need refugee camps. So there's a poor coordination among all these stakeholders on who to do what when a disaster is really happening at a country. So the objective of this presentation is to show how we can use geographic information system as a tool to support decision making in case an emergency is happening, but also how to prepare before an emergency, and also how to respond during an emergency. So the specific objective is that I'm going to use ArcGIS solutions for public safety to support government and communities, and also, let's say, responsible agents in disaster management on how to respond to emergency in case there's an emergency. So the system is going to be such that a disaster happens, and if it's the citizen or any particular actor, responsible actor, needs information, and then you're able, as a citizen, you're able to know what to do, but also as a disaster coordinator, you are able to monitor how a disaster is happening in real time, and you can do some analysis, and you can also plan how to respond to that particular disaster. For that to happen, you need a system, as I said, where you can have operation staff members who are going to manage emergency information. And you also need a command staff, these people who are going to monitor disaster in real time. And then you also have a staff for public information who can create warning systems and notify the citizen in case there's an emergency. Well, I'm going to focus this case on a small area. I'm going to focus on a region of Dar es Salaam. And since I'm not going to explain a disaster at a national level, I'm going to just explain how to monitor day-to-day incidents, such, let's say there's a fire outbreak, there's an accident, there's thefts, there's robberies, all these emergencies. How can we deal with these emergencies? So before I do that, why am I trying to create a system to support decision making? In the recent events, I'm going to share something here, an evidence from when the fire happened here in Mwenge. So this is an online social media platform, and the citizen was saying that Watanzania bado hatuwezi kutoa taarifa mapema kwa mamlaka husika linapotokea tatizo. Tunawaza kupigia this Miladayo is a social media person who gives it's a news company. Wapate taarifa waje kwenye eneo ndo maybe the responsible authorities know. So I'm going back to my slides. So we evidently see that we have a problem in incident reporting. Sorry, I'm having some technical issues. So we have some, we evidently see that we have some problem in reporting an incident, and also respondents teams take a long time to respond to events in case of an emergency. So I'm going to, for this system to work, I said I'm going to present a system where a citizen can easily report an incident, then the responsible authorities can monitor and see where the incident is happening and send teams to respond to an incident. So if you can see my screen right now, you can see citizens here give an emergency call, and the government would represent any authority responsible to responding to this incident. So for me here, if I'm taking a city case of Dar es Salaam, the government here can include the city council, and they're able to monitor incidences in real time through the dashboard. And then, being aware of their location, they're going to be able to send response teams, including fire people, firefighters, police officers, or an ambulance, navigate to a situation, and the navigation tools provided by ArcGIS, including ArcGIS Navigator, to respond to an incident. And then when they reach to an incident, those respondents are also able to collect information about the incident through ArcGIS Survey 123. It's a digital form to collect data, and when the data is collected, can also be automatically published back to the online platform. And also, that will generally be how the system works. But for this system to be able to work, you need to have a database which has all facilities involved during an emergency. So for my case, if I'm dealing at a city level, an emergency happened, let's say it's a fire or it's an accident, who responds to these facilities? So it will be the police, it will be the fire stations, and the citizens involved. So we need some data to be served, to be stored in our emergency database, and this data can be analyzed and can be collected by GIS professionals in the city. You can include all facilities available in the city, analyze how the facilities are able to respond, how facilities are distributed and are able to respond to these situations in case of an emergency. So once you have all your data and you have processed them into a map and you have done some analysis, you can share this data to a GIS portal, and through this portal, you are able to get apps. You're also going to get apps like you're going to get web maps. You're also going to get apps such as the dashboard that can be used to view incidents in real time, but also create public notification to send to citizens and such kind of things. So I'm going to share a new screen that is going to show you guys how to analyze data before an emergency happens. So you need to be prepared and be aware of your surroundings. So this is my case study. This is Dar es Salaam city. And currently I'm going to show what are the available facilities to deal when there is an emergency. So this is how the facilities are distributed. You have police stations in black, then you have the fire stations, then you have the hospitals. Having a map like this is important because it makes you aware of your surrounding when an emergency happens, and you are going to see at a later time how can these maps be used. So by just visualizing this, I can see that as Dar es Salaam city, it's a big city, but it almost has only 4 fire stations, and the fire stations are almost located at the city center. This means if a fire is happening somewhere around here, let's say it's Kinondoni area or Ilala or Temeke or somewhere in Kigamboni, very far, it's going to be difficult to reach these areas. So I did an analysis to show my current situation. Let me turn off this layer. I did an analysis to show the capacity of the current situation here in Dar es Salaam. So I identified some hotspot areas. These are areas such as markets where there is high population. If you can see here, okay, how to identify the hotspot areas? You just need to have location of data of, let's say, common markets, common malls. For me, I choose markets and common malls because there is always high population in this area. So if a fire were to occur, it would have caused disasters, damage to property, and they're going to be commotion. So if you can see here and you're familiar with that, you have the Kariakoo markets. These areas always have high number of people. So if you have seen the hotspot areas, and if you saw the currently available emergency facilities, here you have the fire stations, here you have the police station, then here you have the hospitals, and here you have the police. So if I'm only going to deal, let's say, with fire station in case of an emergency, so these are the current available fire station here in Dar es Salaam. But the available fire stations are only able to cater within 10 miles, within an 8-minute or 10-minute response time to these markets. If you can see how to do this analysis, well, you come to analysis, you go to network analysis, location, allocation, choose the best location. If you, upon clicking that feature, you'll be able to perform analysis to understand what is your current capability of your facilities to deal with an emergency. So it will require you to import facilities, which my current facilities included fire stations and the demand points. My demand points are these markets. So the yellow lines represent what is the current ability of between the demand point and the facilities that I have. So you can see this fire station can cater to Ilala market, and this fire station can cater to these ones and all that. So through this analysis, we readily see that we need to have more fire stations, but also fire hydrants. A fire station can be far, but if you have hydrants around, these demand areas, it is easy when firefighters are there and they run out of water, you can just easily run to a hydrant and put out fire, because the distance used to go back to a fire station to reload water, to refill water, can increase more damage to the properties. So as I highlighted my demand areas, this would be the malls, markets, and bus terminals. These are areas which tend to have high population pressures. So there is also no fire hydrants here in Dar es Salaam. So this analysis done, it's a buffer analysis. If you want to do a buffer analysis, you just come to map, analysis, you go to analysis, then tools, you can have geoprocessing tools and you just write buffer. And the tool will readily be available for you to do it. Why am I using buffer? We know a criteria for establishing hydrant is that a hydrant should be almost 100 meters in front or about the property, so that in case of a fire and the fire is intense, a hydrant is placed at a secure location where the fire vehicle can easily go to refill water. So let's say this is Kariakoo Market, and around Kariakoo Market, there are no fire hydrants. So if the city planning department wants to install hydrants, they can easily select any location around this 100-meter radius that I have highlighted here for them to be able to establish fire hydrant. This will be the case to all markets that I selected for my case studies. And also, you can get to know if the city is planning to increase more fire stations, which areas are suitable to locate these stations. You also go back to the analysis layer, and I'm using network analysis, same location allocation. This feature, the location analysis feature, can help you to identify suitable areas to establish a fire station. It can be anything. So in my case, I'm saying a fire station because we see the city is lacking fire stations in terms of population, in terms of value of structures available, but also in terms of distance from miles of a street. So for me, in this case, in the location allocation layer, my current facilities were the 4 fire stations here, and I used the whole boundary of Dar es Salaam city as my demand point, so that at least every municipality in Dar es Salaam will have a fire station. They may still not be enough because there's always congestion and depending on the number of people. So if you have more data, you can get to do more analysis for suitable areas to allocate this. So for demonstration purpose, I just use all this boundary, Dar es Salaam boundary, so to show the location of new fire station. And these red markers here are the potential sites to establish new location. This will ensure that every municipality has a fire station, and those fire stations, with the help of the hydrants, can be used in reducing response time or increasing efficiency in response time, especially during fire outbreaks. So I'm going to share another screen. So I said this system needs to have 3 major parts. A part where a citizen can report a problem, a part where responsible authorities can monitor the incident and send dispatch team to a certain area. Now, a dashboard here would be a tool for monitoring incidences in real time. So a citizen can report an incident, and a person in the city center, or it can be the police station, it can be the fire station, it can be the ambulance people. They are able to monitor emergency or calls, incoming calls, and then they're able to see the facilities around them and respond to the station. So I created a reporting tool where a citizen can easily report an incident. I hope you can see my screen. So here is example of a digital form that can be used on the mobile apps, can be used on the phone, can be used on a computer, can be used on a tablet. So here I'm taking a role of a citizen and I'm reporting an incident. So if you see currently my dashboard reads 20. So let me show you. I'm reporting an emergency as a citizen right now. It's a traffic accident. It's happening at this time and that date. The severity is low. You can just come here and it takes your location. I can include a photo. I can quickly take a photo and say that is the photo and my phone contact. And maybe I'm a witness to that incident. You can fill in the comments here if you want. I'm not going to do that because of time. And I'm submitting this. I'm submitting this. There, as a citizen, I have reported a crime. So, as you can see, within just a few seconds, a person at the city center can see that there's an incident that has been reported. And if you want to know what incident, the dashboard shows you here, reported incidents. They are in an order of the most recent reported incident. And you can see here, it's a fire outbreak, the severity, let's say it's modern, and the person reporting it is a victim. So you want to know more about this fire outbreak. When you click here, it will take you to the location of the incident. And you can see here, it's a fire outbreak. A person might have included their contact and everything. And I populated this form by sharing it with some of my friends for the case of demonstration purposes. And these were the incidents that happened. So you as a person at the police station or anywhere, I'm using the city council because I'm hoping this is a command center where they get to know the information of all incidents happening around the city, and they're able to coordinate teams. It can be the hospitals, the police station, it can be the fire stations to respond to this incident. So let's say if I'm at the city council and I want to know how many fire outbreaks have happened, okay, 3 fire outbreaks. If I'm looking at this here, you can see different incidences. You can see here, so there's a fire outbreak, there's a phone contact, the severity of the incident is critical. And it started 20 minutes ago and the fire buildup rate is very high. So you as the person at the command center, it is easy to see what is happening and really coordinate teams. You can contact maybe the firefighters or sorry, it's taking a long time to refresh. You can contact the firefighters or any responsible teams, ambulances, to go to the area of a particular incident and send teams to respond to this. So let's say this is a reported incident. You as a person at the command center, you just easily see which police station is nearby. It's a police spot at Mtenga Street. You call the person there, go to the location of an incident. You see which fire station is nearby you. This is what it means. You can easily see incidents reported in real time and you can coordinate resources to go to respond to an incident. So after a person at the command center has sent response teams to an area, the response team should also have a way to digitally fill information or collect report about that incident. So here is another digital form that can be used by emergency response teams to document more information about the incident. You can see the difference between a report filled by a person who is responding to an incident and a report that a citizen uses. The one which the citizen uses, it is so short because it's an emergency incident. A person doesn't have time to fill out information. But the one that is going to be used by the response team has to be long because you need a lot of information. You can get information on the gender, death, and such kind of things. This helps the National Bureau of Statistics to get reports and can also get more information about incidents such that they're able to share these statistics with responsible authorities. Let's say if it's the police station, that they has to increase protection in some areas, or if it's the fire station, you need to do this and such kind of things. Also, I have an app here which can help citizens to get familiar with their location in terms of an incident. So an incident has happened and the response teams are arriving late, but you're not aware of your surroundings. So using this app, you can just come here. I am now in an emergency situation. Something has happened. You can just go to use my current location, and it will load me to my current location, and it will tell me all the facilities that are available in my current location. So if I'm experiencing a fire, there's a fire station nearby, just almost, the city is currently having problems with fire stations. So there's a fire station here, almost 5 kilometers away from me, but there's also a police station, and I can see there is a hospital somewhere nearby. This will help the citizen deal with emergencies before the respondent teams has arrived or the response teams are taking long. It's an app which is really easy to use, as I just showed you, and it would help in making decisions during an emergency. So how do you get this app? How do you configure this app? You just need to have an ArcGIS online subscription, and you can you just need to have an ArcGIS online subscription. Then after you log into your ArcGIS online account, there's a tool called ArcGIS Solutions. When you go to this tool, it will tell you exactly which tool do you need according to your situation. Then you can deploy that solution. So I'm going to share back my screen to here. So from sorry, I'm having again issues with my screen. So basically, we have seen how an incident can happen. A citizen can report an incident. The person at the city council or police station, ambulance station, any facility who is responsible for responding to this incident can see what is happening and can coordinate resources on how to respond to those incidents. So the benefit of this solution is that it will improve response times and efficiency during an emergency situation, but there will be enhanced situational awareness for decision makers. As you could see from the maps, that we have a map that shows the location of all nearby hospitals, all nearby police stations, all nearby fire stations, all nearby ambulance stations. So it's easy to make this decision because you're familiar with your environment. But also the solution can offer a platform for better resource allocation and coordination among response teams. It also increases the time in reporting incidents and the responsible authorities to know about the incident. So once again, if I share my dashboard. As you can see, it is easy to have the statistics of location of incidences, and this can be used by the authorities to zone high areas of crime incidents or fire incidents, and they're able to plan in these areas. They're able to research more in these areas. Why are there a lot of fire? Or maybe in this area, why is there a lot of theft and crime? So it is easy to plan and increase security. It is easy to for the city departments, let's say, to plan how to organize their infrastructure and such kind of of things. So as I said, it will be able to in zoning of high-risk areas and city infrastructure planning. Also, these solutions that are presented, they can be easily integrated with the existing system. So if a company or a facility was, if any responding team was using a paper-based facility or was using manual modes of data collection, they can easily be integrated within this system, so enabling a smooth transition between the old system and the modern system. And that would be all. Thank you for your attention. So, okay, before that, if anyone is wondering about the public, how do you inform the public? I have currently not been able to display that solution because it needs a system where you have addresses of various zones in your area. So at a later time when a city or any department has this kind of information, you also have a solution in ArcGIS where you can just easily configure a public notification system and be able to warn citizen in case of an emergency or a situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Tekla and the team.